The evening sun was almost gone, and the school parking lot looked quiet and empty. Only a few cars were left, and long shadows stretched across the ground. In the middle of this silence walked Era, a quiet girl who always stayed alone. Her backpack looked heavy, and her steps were slow, as if she was tired not from the day but from life. Everyone in school knew Era, or at least they thought they knew her. She never talked in class. She never joined groups. She always sat in the last seat near the window, looking outside as if she was searching for something far away. Most students assumed she was shy. Others said she was strange. But the truth was something nobody understood. Not yet. Era stopped near her old bicycle and looked around. The wind moved lightly, pushing a plastic bag across the ground. The silence felt different, today heavier, almost scary. She felt as if something was wrong, but she couldn't explain it. For a long moment she stood still, looking over her shoulder, nothing. Just empty cars and the sound of the wind. She tried to calm herself. This school was usually safe, and she had walked alone many times. So why did her chest feel tight? Why did her hands feel cold? Era shook her head and unlocked her bicycle. But as she touched the handle, she heard a sound behind one of the cars. A soft step, then a whisper, then silence again. She froze. Her heartbeat slowly grew faster. She turned her head, but again she saw nothing. Only shadows dancing as the sun slowly disappeared. She breathed deeply and whispered to herself, "It's nothing. Just go home." But it wasn't nothing. Someone was watching her. Someone was waiting. As Era rolled her bicycle backward, she noticed a shadow moving again. This time it was clearer. Someone stepped out from behind a white car. Then another person. Then another. 3 silhouettes slowly appeared, blocking her path. Era's fingers tightened around the bicycle handle. It was them, Mia, Ria, and Sam, the school bullies. The ones who always laughed at her in class, the ones who whispered behind her back. The ones who waited for moments like this. Mia, the leader, walked forward with a confident smile on her face. She had a cruel look in her eyes, the kind that enjoyed fear. Ria followed her, chewing gum loudly. Sam held his phone in his hand, already recording. Era's throat felt dry, but she stayed silent. Like always, Mia spread her arms dramatically. "Look who's here." "The quiet little girl," she said in a slow, mocking voice. Ria laughed loudly. "Ah, she looks scared." "So cute?" Era didn't look scared. She looked frozen like a statue that didn't know where to run. She tried to avoid their eyes. She tried to step backward slightly. But the bullies closed in, forming a circle around her. Sam lifted his camera higher. "This is going to be good," he whispered. Era swallowed hard. Her heart was beating fast. Too fast. She wanted to speak, but her voice didn't come out. Mia stepped so close that their faces were almost inches apart. "You always walk alone," she said softly. "Why? No friends? No voice?" Ria moved behind Era and pushed her bicycle. It fell with a loud metal crash. Era jumped a little, but still said nothing. Mia smirked. "Say something, quiet girl." Era's lips finally moved. Her voice was soft, trembling. "Please, don't do this." But her words only made them laugh louder. Sam zoomed the camera in. "Yeah, cry for us." Era looked down at her hands. They were shaking not from fear, but from something else. Something she had been holding inside for a very long time. A strange silence filled the parking lot again. Even the wind had stopped. The air felt heavy, as if it knew something dark was about to begin. Era slowly lifted her eyes, and for the first time, she looked directly at them. There was no fear in her eyes now, only something hidden, something powerful. A storm was coming, and the bullies had no idea. Era's sudden stare made. The bullies paused for a second. They were not expecting her to look up like that. Her eyes were steady, cold, and strangely calm. Mia blinked, confused for a moment, but then forced a laugh to hide it. "Oh, look," Mia said. She finally found her eyes. Ria snorted. Maybe she found some courage too. Sam moved closer with his phone. Guys, get ready. This video is going to be viral. Quiet girl versus us? People will love it. Era took a slow breath. She didn't step forward. She didn't step back. She just stood still, like someone waiting for something. Or maybe controlling something inside her. The parking lot was almost empty now. The sky had turned dark purple, and the first streetlights flickered on. Their yellow glow stretched long shadows across the concrete, making everything feel more intense. Mia took a step forward and waved her hand in front of Era's face. "You think staring at us will help you?" she asked. "Say something." Era didn't move. Her silence irritated Rhea, who walked behind her again. "What's in the bag?" Rhea asked, pulling at Era's backpack strap. Era held it tightly. "Stop. Please." Mia smirked. "We're not touching you. We just want to talk. Right?" Rhea nodded innocently. "Just friendly talk." She grabbed the backpack and pulled it harder. Era stumbled forward. Sam laughed. "Yes, this is gold." Era quickly moved to pick up her bag, but Mia stepped on the strap. She leaned down and whispered, "You never talk. You never fight back. Why? Are you weak?" Era's breath hitched, but she didn't answer. She reached for her sketch notebook inside the side pocket. But Rhea was faster. She snatched the notebook and held it up like a trophy. "Ooh, what's this? A diary?" Sam zoomed in with his camera again. "Open it. Show us." Era took a quick step forward. "No, don't." Her voice wasn't loud, but her tone was sharp enough to make Rhea hesitate for a second. Mia noticed it and frowned. "Relax, Era. We're just having fun." Rhea opened the notebook. Her smile slowly faded. "What are these drawings?" she asked. Sam moved closer. "Let me see." The pages showed dark sketches, broken swings, crying children, shadows with sharp faces, a girl sitting alone. The drawings were deep, emotional, almost painful to look at. Rhea flipped to another page. There, a small girl was shown, surrounded by bullies. Their faces were exaggerated, twisted, ugly. Another page showed the same girl curled in a corner. Hugging her knees while shadows reached toward her, Mia raised an eyebrow. "Seriously? You draw sad stuff like this? What's wrong with you?" Era stepped forward again. Faster this time. "Give it back." "This looks like trauma." "Dude, her brain is messed up." Rhea made a sad, fake voice. "Poor little Era. Did someone hurt you? Is that why you're so weird?" Era clenched her fists. Her breathing quickened. Her hands shook more now, but not from fear. Something else was rising inside her, something strong and dangerous. Mia waved the notebook in front of her. "Come on, say something. Scream, cry, do anything. It will make the video better." Era looked up again, and this time her stare was even colder. "Give it back." Rhea laughed loudly. "Make me." She raised the notebook as if she would tear it. Era gasped and stepped forward quickly. "No." The sudden loudness of her voice surprised all three bullies. Even Sam lowered his camera slightly. For the first time, Era's emotion came out. Her voice cracked, filled with pain and a warning they didn't understand. Mia tilted her head, studying Era's shaking shoulders. Something felt different now. Something in Era's eyes had changed, something fierce. "What's your problem?" Mia asked, but her voice sounded less confident. Era took one more step. "Please," she said softly. "Don't touch that." Rhea rolled her eyes. "You know what? I think I will." She placed her fingers on the page. Ready to rip? Before she could pull, Era moved. She grabbed Rhea's wrist fast, strong and without fear. Rhea screamed, dropping the notebook. Mia stepped back, shocked. Sam froze, the camera shaking in his hand. Era stood tall, her eyes blazing with something none of them had ever seen. And for the first time, the bullies felt a spark of fear. Rhea stumbled backward as Era's grip tightened on her wrist. It wasn't a painful hold, but it was firm, strong enough to send a wave of shock through all three bullies. Rhea's eyes widened as she stared at Era in disbelief. "Let go." Rhea shouted. Aira slowly released her wrist. The notebook fell to the ground between them. For a moment, no one moved. The parking lot felt heavier than before, as if the air itself was waiting to see what would happen next. Mia recovered first. She stepped in front of Rhea, her face red with anger. "What do you think you're doing?" she asked. Her voice wasn't loud, but it shook slightly. Era didn't answer. She only looked at the notebook on the ground, its pages open, exposing her sketches, her secrets, her past. Sam, still recording, whispered, "Guys, did you see how fast she moved?" "That wasn't normal," Mia snapped at him. "Shut up and keep recording." Era bent down slowly and picked up her notebook. Her hands trembled as she brushed off the dirt. She closed the cover gently, as if the book was something alive, something she needed to protect. When she looked up again, her expression had changed. Her eyes held a strange calmness. It wasn't fear. It was something deeper. Something dangerous. Mia noticed the change too. She crossed her arms, trying to stay in control. "That little stunt? It doesn't scare us," she said, but her voice said otherwise. Era hugged her notebook to her chest. She took a slow breath and whispered, almost to herself, "Not again. I can't let it happen again." Rhea frowned. "What is she talking about?" Before anyone could speak, Era's gaze snapped upward. She looked directly at Mia, then at Rhea, then at Sam. Her voice, when she spoke again, was low and steady. "You don't understand what you're doing," she said. "Please, go away," Mia scoffed. "Or what? You're going to attack us?" Era didn't answer. She stepped backward, and her shadow stretched long behind her in the dim parking lot light. The wind picked up slightly, blowing her hair across her face. She lifted her chin, her eyes sharp. Rhea whispered, "She looks different." Mia ignored her. She stepped forward again, determined to regain control of the situation. "You think because you grabbed my friend's wrist, we will be scared?" She smirked. "You're still the same quiet loser." Era felt her heartbeat growing heavier. Not fast, heavy. Like each beat was pushing something out, something she had buried for years. Sam raised the camera again. "Come on, Mia. Say that again." "The video needs a good title." Mia smirked and opened her mouth to speak, but Era's voice cut through the air first. "I said stop." Words were sharp, like a blade. They echoed through the empty parking lot. Even the wind seemed to pause. Mia blinked. Rhea swallowed hard. Sam lowered the camera once more. Era stepped forward, just one step, but it was enough. Her presence felt larger, stronger. The fear in her eyes had faded completely. In its place was something fierce, something that made the bullies shift uncomfortably. "You don't know what you're doing," Era said again. This time her voice was not shaky. "I'm trying not to get angry. Don't make me." Mia tried to laugh but ended up coughing. "Angry? You?" Era didn't blink. "Yes." That single word hit them hard. Rhea whispered to Mia, "Let's just go. This is weird." But Mia hated backing down. Her pride mattered to her more than anything. She shoved Rhea aside and walked straight toward Era, stopping only a few inches away. "What are you gonna do?" Mia challenged. "Cry, scream? Run away?" Era's hands tightened around her notebook. Her breath shook once, then steadied. She closed her eyes, then opened them again, and that was the moment everything changed. Her stare was no longer quiet or scared. It was fire. It was rage. It was a storm waiting to explode. The bullies felt it. For the first time, they felt afraid of her. Sam whispered, "Mia, maybe stop." But Mia stepped back without realizing she had moved. Era took one slow step toward them, her voice deep and calm. "This ends today." The parking lot fell silent. The storm inside her had awakened, and the bullies had no idea what they had unleashed. For a moment, no one breathed. The air around Era felt different, heavy, charged, almost electric. It was as if something deep inside her had finally awakened. And that awakening made the bullies step back without thinking. Mia tried to hide her fear with a fake smile. "Oh, please," she said, her voice shaky. "You think you're scary now?" Era didn't reply. She simply took another slow step forward. Her eyes didn't blink, didn't soften. They stared straight through Mia, as if she wasn't even there. Sam raised the camera, but his hands trembled. "Guys, this is not normal. She's like different." Rhea moved behind Mia and whispered, "Let's just leave. I don't like this." But Mia hated losing control. She lifted her chin, trying to show confidence she didn't feel. "You think we're scared of you?" Mia said. "You're still the same quiet girl." Era's jaw tightened. Something flashed in her eyes pan. Anger, memory. She wasn't just reacting to the bullies. She was reacting to every moment she had held inside for years. She whispered, "Stop talking." Mia stepped closer, ready to say something worse, but before she could, Era moved. It wasn't violent. It wasn't wild. But it was fast. She reached out and grabbed Mia's wrist with one hand, not hurting her, just stopping her. The sudden contact made Mia gasp. She tried to pull back, but Era's grip didn't budge. "Let go," Mia said, her voice cracking. Era slowly released her, and Mia stumbled backward. Rhea stared with wide eyes. What is she? Some kind of fighter. Era's breathing grew heavier, her shoulders rising and falling like she was controlling a storm inside her. She dropped her notebook onto her bicycle seat, freeing both hands. She wasn't planning to attack. She wasn't planning anything. Her body simply responded to the years of pressure building inside her. Mia lifted her hand again, but this time, it shook. "You're crazy," she whispered. Era looked at her calmly. "No," she said. "I'm tired." Sam swallowed hard. Her eyes, they looked so different. Era took a deep breath. "You hurt people because you think no one will stop you." Mia tried to recover her attitude. "Oh, please, Era!" cut her off sharply. I said, "Stop." The force in her voice made the streetlight above them flicker slightly. It was not loud, but it was strong enough to silence everyone. Era stepped forward again. Each footstep echoed in the empty lot. She wasn't running, wasn't rushing. She was simply walking with a confidence they had never seen. Rhea backed away, holding her hands up. "Don't come near me." Era paused. Her voice softened, but the emotion inside it was even heavier. "I don't want to scare you. I never wanted this." She looked down at her shaking hands, almost confused by her own strength. "But you pushed me. Again and again, and now. I can't hold it anymore." Mia's voice trembled. "You're acting like you're some monster." Era looked at her, and for the first time there was sadness in her expression. "I'm not a monster. I'm someone who's been silent for too long." Sam nervously stepped backward, his phone lowering. "Guys, she's serious. Let's leave." But it was too late. Era took another step, and the bullies screamed not because she touched them, but because of her expression. She wasn't angry like a normal person. Her rage was cold, controlled, deep, dangerous. It wasn't shouting rage or violent rage. It was the kind of rage born from years of being pushed, ignored, and broken. The kind that didn't explode outward, but inward, making the air around her feel tight and suffocating. Era whispered. "All I wanted was for you to stop," Mia shaking said. We're sorry." But Era kept walking slowly toward them. The bullies stepped back with every movement. Era wasn't attacking. She wasn't threatening. She was simply showing them something they had never seen: her strength, her truth, her rage, and that alone made them scream. The quiet girl was not weak. She never had been. And now, for the first time, the bullies finally understood who they had cornered. The bullies kept stepping back as Era slowly walked toward them. They had never seen her like this. There was no shouting, no wild anger, just a deep, controlled rage that made her seem stronger than all three of them combined. Mia's voice broke first. "Stop coming closer." Era stopped. Her breathing was heavy, but her face stayed calm. She didn't want to fight. She didn't want to hurt anyone. She just wanted the fear inside her to end. Rhea's hands trembled. "Please, don't do anything." Era looked down at her notebook lying on the bicycle seat. Slowly, she picked it up again. She held it gently, almost protectively. The bullies watched, confused. Why was a sketchbook so important to her? Era opened it. The pages fluttered in the wind like wounded wings. Drawings of shadows, drawings of fear, drawings of a small girl crying. Sam whispered, "Those pictures, they're about her." Era touched one of the sketches with her fingertips. It showed a corner of a room, a girl curled up tight, and 3 dark shapes standing over her. The lines were sharp, the shading deep. You could almost feel the pain behind it. "This isn't just drawing," Era said softly. "It's memory." The bullies exchanged confused looks. Mia frowned. "What are you talking about?" Era turned the notebook around, showing them one page. A younger girl sat alone in a school hallway. Behind her stood 3 older kids, laughing at her. One of them held her bag. Another pointed at her tears. The third one recorded everything on a phone. The image looked too familiar. Rhea blinked. "Is that you?" Era nodded once. "When I was 8, Sam lowered his camera completely. "You were bullied before?" Era's voice cracked, but she didn't hide it. For years, she closed the notebook and hugged it to her chest again. Her eyes softened, but the storm inside them didn't fade. "I changed schools because of it," Era continued. "Every day I walked alone. Every day someone pushed me, laughed at me, or took something from me." She shook her head slowly. "No one helped me. No one believed me." Mia looked down, guilt forming in her eyes. Era took a deep breath. "When I moved here, I promised myself one thing. I would never, ever let it happen again." Her voice carried a mix of strength and sadness. "But I didn't want to fight. I didn't want to become angry like them," Era said, pointing at the old drawings. "So I stayed quiet. I hid everything inside and pretended I was fine." Sam whispered, "That's why you never talk." Era nodded. "If I talk, I might break. If I break, everything inside me comes out." Rhea wiped her eyes. We didn't know." Era looked at her with calm, steady eyes. "You never asked." That sentence hit them like a punch. The parking lot wind grew colder. The streetlight above hummed quietly. The 3 bullies stood in front of Era, not as attackers anymore, but as confused. Guilty teenagers who had no idea what they were doing. Era continued, her voice shaking gently. "When you took my notebook, you touched the only place where I keep my memories safe. I don't talk about them. I draw them because that's the only way I can breathe." She opened another page. The drawing showed a girl standing in the middle of a dark circle with hands reaching toward her. But this time, the girl's eyes were glowing, full of anger and strength. Mia stared at it. "Is that today?" Era nodded. "I didn't want to get angry. But when you opened my notebook, it felt like everything came back. All the fear, all the pain, all the nights I cried alone." She closed the book again, hugging it tightly. "And that's when the rage came," Era whispered. "Not because I hate you, but because I'm tired of being hurt." Rhea stepped forward shakily. "We're sorry. We really are." Era didn't answer. She just looked at them calm, tired, strong. For the first time, the bullies didn't feel scared of her rage. They felt scared of what they had done. And now, they finally understood the truth. The quiet girl was fighting a war none of them had ever seen. The parking lot was silent, except for the soft hum of the streetlight. Era stood in front of the 3 bullies, her notebook pressed against her chest. She wasn't angry anymore. She wasn't shaking. She just looked exhausted, like someone who had carried a heavy burden for too long. Mia wiped her forehead nervously. "Era? We didn't know. We didn't understand." Era's eyes softened, but didn't lose their strength. "You weren't supposed to understand," she said calmly. "You just needed to stop," Rhea sniffed, wiping the corner of her eye. "We really are sorry. We didn't think it would hurt you this much." Era shook her head gently. "It's not just you. It's everything. My old school, my past. The fear I kept inside." Sam lowered his phone completely. His hands trembled from guilt. "I'm deleting the video," he whispered. Era looked at him for a long second. "Good." Then her body relaxed a little, her shoulders dropping. It was the first moment where she didn't look like a volcano ready to explode. But just as the situation seemed to calm, a distant voice shouted, "Hey! What's going on here?" A teacher, Mr. Lewis, rushed into the parking lot. He must have heard the earlier yelling. His eyes scanned the scene quickly. 3 scared bullies, 1 quiet girl, a notebook, a fallen bicycle. What happened? He demanded. Mia opened her mouth quickly, panic taking over. She attacked us? We were just talking and she grabbed Ria. She scared us. Ria nodded too fast. Yes, she threatened us. Sam stayed quiet, guilt all over his face. Era didn't say a word. Her eyes lowered. A part of her expected this. That's how bullying always worked. Victims lost their voice. Bullies twisted the story. Mr. Lewis turned to Era with concern. Era, is this true? Before she could answer, Sam's shaky voice cut through the air. No, it's not. Everyone turned to him. Sam swallowed hard and took a deep breath. Sir, she didn't attack us. We cornered her. We took her notebook. We started everything. Mia's eyes widened. Sam, what are you? But he continued. She only grabbed Ria because Ria tried to tear her notebook. She never touched us before that. She didn't threaten us. She just got scared. Ria's face fell. Mia looked like she wanted to scream. Mr. Lewis faced them, shocked and disappointed. You 3 bullied her? None of them answered. Their silence was the confession. Era looked up slowly. I don't want them punished, she whispered. All eyes turned to her again. Mr. Lewis frowned. Era, they hurt you. Era nodded. Yes, but punishing them won't remove the pain I already lived with. She looked at the bullies, her voice gentle yet firm. I don't want revenge. I just want respect. I want to walk home without fear. Her words were simple, but they carried more power than anything she had done earlier. Mia's eyes softened with real guilt. We'll leave you alone, she said quietly. We won't bother you again, Ria added. Sam nodded. I'm sorry, Era. Era gave a small, tired smile. Thank you. Mr. Lewis sighed with relief. I'll still talk to all of you tomorrow. But for tonight, go home safely. The bullies turned and walked away, slowly, confused, ashamed, and changed. Their footsteps echoed softly as the distance grew between them and the quiet girl. Era picked up her bicycle and carefully placed her notebook inside her bag. The storm inside her had settled. The rage had quieted. She felt lighter, but also stronger. As she rode toward the exit, Sam called out from a distance. Era, that rage you showed. It was scary, but he hesitated. It was also powerful. Don't hide it forever. Use it to protect yourself. Era thought for a moment, then nodded. I will, she said softly, but only when needed. She pedaled away, the cool night breeze brushing her face. For the first time in years, she didn't feel alone. The narrator's voice closes the story as she disappears onto the quiet street. Sometimes the quiet ones carry the loudest storms inside. And when their silence finally breaks, the world listens.